I do not have a clue what the real answer is to the chaos and misery that huge numbers of people are experiencing at British airports, which is why I've called in Julia Lo-Bue-Said, CEO of Advantage Travel Partnership, the UK's largest independent travel agent. Please educate me. Tell me it looks awful what's going on.
It's really disappointing. We've all seen those images at the airports and those queues and passengers who have waited many, many months, years now, to travel. So really frustrating, disappointing. To answer the question, we've got to go back a little bit, and we've got to go back to March 2020, when the whole of the sector was completely shut down, not just in the UK, but a global infrastructure. We're restarting from scratch. The industry has been absolutely decimated. Staff have left the workforce. We're struggling for labour, as is the whole economy. So trying to build back a business, and we are literally restarting. The industry has suffered on and off for 2 years now.
So is Shapps right in a way? When Shapps says they've taken bookings, but they haven't got the physical number of men and women to provide the service, does Shapps have a point?
No, I don't think it has a point. I think it's not that simplistic. I think, running a travel business is exceptionally complicated. There are many moving parts. So the industry does not go out of its way to disrupt holidays, disrupt flights. It does. It's doing everything it can to make sure that we've got the logistics in the right place. Operationally, the infrastructure is robust, and we can make sure people can travel.
But it's not making a very good job of it, is it?
Well, let's put it into context. 18,000 flights took off last week. 18,000, it's about 6 million people that will be that had a great travel experience from British airports. Around 300 flights were cancelled, but not cancelled on the day, not cancelled the day before. There is advance notice. Now, that does not make it acceptable. That does not make it right.
But to be fair, Julia, that has not happened here in every case. There are lots and lots of first-hand accounts of people turning up at airports and thinking they've checked in.
Yeah, and it's all...
and then being cancelled.
Absolutely. And
so you're arguing that actually, as a percentage of the total number of flights, it's awful, but still relatively small.
It is relative. It's 2%. 2% of all flights are being cancelled. That's not good enough. That's still not good enough. And as I say, you cannot excuse the fact that people have waited for years and they're not able to travel. my members, I've got 700 members across the UK. They're travel agents. All they are doing day in, day out is servicing customers who've had flights cancelled, who now can't travel because, they're having to amend. So they are there working night and day to try and make sure customers can depart. So it's going to take some time before we can operationally make sure the industry's back. We've got a busy half-term week. I flew to Spain on Monday. I genuinely went through security at Stansted, no problem. The flight left on time, not an issue. So there are pockets of situations. And actually what the industry needs to do is communicate. We need to communicate better with customers and make sure our customers are up to speed.
It may be only 2%, but it's pretty upsetting for that 2%. One last thought on all of this. I've picked up yesterday that it isn't just in the UK this is happening. It's actually a global problem. Thousands of flights all across the Western world. It's not just us suffering with this.
Absolutely not. This is a knock-on impact. The whole infrastructure, the UK infrastructure, is supported by a global one. So it has a knock-on impact right across the board. So Schiphol Airport has had it quite horrendously. Yeah. But in the US, lots of flights have been cancelled in the SO.
More cancellations there, I think.
Yeah. But not an excuse, but we've got to work through it.
And what are the prospects for the summer? Or should we all think about staycations?
Definitely not. Get book with a travel agent and you'll be absolutely fine.
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
You would. Julia, thank you. Well, I hope that gives us all some sense of context, because to look at the newspapers, you would think that it's like 50% of flights that are being cancelled. Julia says it's 2% of flights. She stakes her professional reputation on that. Awful for those affected, but perhaps not quite as bad as we're led to believe through the rest of media.